Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another round of Super Rugby Pacific. This one, round 6. Competition is flying by, and these two sides have very different Super Rugby starts to their season. As you can see, the Chiefs are sitting in second place on the 18 points. They have only suffered one loss. That was to the Reds. Currently find themselves in 5th, whereas for the Crusaders, they are 5 losses from 5, and now with the Western Force getting themselves that victory last week up against the Reds, it means that the only defeated side, and the only defeated side in terms of not getting themselves a victory, is the Crusaders. And it's very different from what we are used to seeing. Of course, a very different side than what we are used to seeing as well for this Super Rugby Pacific competition. But looking through at their starting lineup, they are going to be at home. So there's one bonus that they have got for this match. George Bell, and also Fletcher Newell will be the front row. Quinton Strange back at number 4. Now, he was initially going to be in the starting lineup last week. Did end up missing out. Late exclusion from the side. So I mean instead that they did need to replace him. Jamie Hanna, though, gets to keep his start. He's going to be playing as number 5. Corey Keller at number 6. Tom Christie at 7. And Cullen Grace as the number 8. Now, he was the only man to score the last time that the Crusaders did play in Christchurch. It was up against the Hurricanes, Mitch Drummond and Riley Hohepa as the 19 combination. Now, I could be wrong here, but I believe this is Drummond's first start of the Super Rugby Pacific season. They have gone with Noah Hotham in the past, alongside going with Willie Hines. Now given Drummond that starting opportunity. Dallas McLeod and Levi Moore in the midfield, so no David Havili for this matchup. Then Johnny McNichol out on the left wing to replace the youngster. Right, so I am on my phone, ladies and gentlemen. You can't really see me at the moment. The Wi-Fi is just cut out again. Unfortunately, that's about the 7th time today that has decided to be at number 15. As soon as the Wi-Fi comes back, though, we will be going back to the main device. But for the Chiefs, in their starting lineup, it is Aidan Ross. We will also have the animation in a very short moment, but Aidan Ross, Simasoni Takiaho, and George Dyer will be the front row for the Chiefs. Manakai Selby-Ricker and Josh Lord as the 4-5. Then Nato Akoi, Kalen Boshier, and then at number 8, they have gone once again with Luke Jacobson. Josh Jacob gets the big opportunity at 10 with Xavier Rowe as the number 9. We have good evening, Amish. How's it going? It's going all right, other than the Wi-Fi. One moment, we're going to switch back over to the other device. Add me, remove me. There we go. We are now back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, now it's going to have a lovely big glitch. There we go. Right. Hopefully now it's going to work. Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi in a small town is absolutely awful, and I want to throw the modem at the wall. But looking at the starting lineup for the Chiefs now, ladies and gentlemen, it is still here. There we go. Moving on to the back line, Xavier Rowe and Josh Jacob as the 19, like I mentioned. Quinton Pai and Anton Leonard-Brown will be the midfield combo. This is Anton Leonard-Brown's first game since returning from his concussion. And then Amoni Narawa getting the start out on the right wing. This will actually be his first start in quite some time, ever since his injury for the All Blacks back in that World Cup. Atino Nana Satoro at number 11, and Sean Stevenson slotting in as the number 15. Good morning, Amish. Hope you're doing well, says Dion. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well too. This game only 10 minutes away from the start. Shouldn't Reese be playing 13? He is not a centre, so probably not, no. Feel like they've got a lot of options that they could go with as the 12 or 13 for the Crusaders. Levi Moore, I'll be honest, has been struggling a little bit in the midfield for the Crusaders throughout this game. What's your score prediction for this game? I think it could be relatively close. Like, as much as it's nice to think that the Chiefs are going to breeze past the Crusaders in this game, we've got to remember the last time that they played each other, it was extremely close. It was in the opening round of Super Rugby Pacific. Looking through at those previous results, we will look first of all at the Crusaders and what has led to 5 losses in a row in that first game up against the Chiefs. It was in Waikato. The Chiefs managing to get that win by the 4 points. Then the Crusaders, they were defeated by 13 up against the Waratahs. They lost to the Fijian draw by 10. And then also up against the Hurricanes. That is their only home game per se. Yes, that Super Round kind of counts as a home game, but it was in Australia. So yeah, the one home game that they've had, they lost by 4. And then up against the Blues, they did lose by 20. So, it's a lot on the line here for the Crusaders. They have to try and break this losing streak at the moment for their coach, Rob Petty. He is on a 10-match losing streak. Lost his first or his last 5 games when he was coaching the Waratahs. Now has lost his first 5 for the Crusaders. Fullbacks relevant in today's game, other than just kicking the ball around? I think so. I think that the perfect breakdown of a fullback so far throughout this season has been Shaun Stevenson, in terms of the fact that he has been able to have so many running meters alongside the kicking. Of course, kicking is more important now with the 50-22, but when you look at some of the running meters, Ruben Love, he's at almost 300. You've got Shaun Stevenson, Andrew Callaway, both men who aren't predominantly known as kickers, whereas you've got someone like Azan Sullivan, a lot of people would rank as maybe about the 8th best fullback in the competition. So I still think that fullbacks are very relevant to the way that these sides in Super Rugby do attack. Maybe some sides around the world don't use them as much as they should, and some have become more of a kicking element rather than a running. I don't understand why they don't bring back the normal Super Rugby back because it was gone because of COVID, and COVID is now done. So I don't know why they don't bring it back. What is the normal Super Rugby, Marnus, that you are talking about? Are you talking about like normal as in with 14 teams, or are you talking about like the players on the teams? You know, the commentary, Hamish says Yanlu. And we have got there, should get rid of the red card, just the yellow, says Spider-Mick. I mean, it's an option. They've looked at it multiple times. I think the problem that they've got, though, is it's got to go by a board, and the board are very set in their ways. So I don't think it's changing anytime soon. I have the Chiefs by 10. Tears pads ablaze. Now, I should mention, I think that there might be a little bit of rain falling in Christchurch, or at least it looks like it may be going to rain in the near future. He wants the South Africans back. Says Katsanel. I was checking whether or not that is what he meant. Of course, they're in a different competition now, so they can't exactly just leave that comp and pick and choose where they want to go. And magic going to happen here today. Saders first win, says Ivan. It is up against a tough Chiefs side. Like, looking through at that back line, I mentioned them before, but Xavier Rowe, Josh Jacob, that is probably the weakest part of this back line, but it's not really that weak. You've got a Tino Nana Sator in midfield of Quintupai and Anton Leonard-Brown. And then out on the other wing, Amoni Narua returning from his injury for his first start. And then Shaun Stevenson there at number 15, who is debatably one of the best fullbacks that we've seen in the Super Rugby competition. So I think that this is going to be a very good game, and I think we're going to see quite a bit of attack. I'm talking about the South African teams. The Aguares and Sunwolves being involved in Super Rugby with the Australian and New Zealand teams. Says Marnus, well, the South African sides are in the URC, so they won't leave that competition, definitely because they're also associated with the Europeans Champions Cup. They're locked into a contract that says that they have to complete a certain number of years in the URC before it gets reevaluated, so it won't happen. Unfortunately, like maybe one day down the line, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. And Hamish, how are you, mate? Hope the Crusaders win. Lewis Rees-Zammit is officially a Kansas City Chief, says Edward. So I think he's made the squad of 90, hasn't he, Lewis Rees-Zammit, which is massively, like, huge for him. Definitely because a lot of people, when he decided to go to the NFL, they were like, he's not going to do it. He's going to be back in rugby very soon. But he's at least made that initial big squad. Now the job is to get into the side that actually plays rather than just that training squad. And I'm sure if he keeps on doing what he's done throughout the training, maybe you'll get that opportunity. What time is it there right now? Says Ivan. It's currently 7 p.m. So we are 5 minutes away from the start of this contest, ladies and gentlemen. And I will mention anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We have got plenty of rugby over the weekend. We've got the URC tomorrow morning. Then we have also got Super Rugby, 4 games back to back to back to back. And then 2 more games of the URC tomorrow night on the channel as well. Or at least the player have a chance to get back onto the field on the yellow. Says Spider Mick. And Lewis Usama is going to be getting paid more than the triple the highest paid rugby player in history. If he has a good season, says Katzenel. They are just showing the Apollo Project Stadium, also known as OrangeTheory Stadium in the old days. Here at Wellington, I am not, no, down in the South Island where I am located. It's going to be an interesting opening round game for these two sides because the Chiefs, a lot of people have been putting down their success to what Damian McKenzie has been able to do in that number 10 jersey. And now that he is not there, big opportunity for the youngster Josh Jacob. Now, he actually helped lead his side to a Bunnings NBC title. So I think it's going to be very entertaining to see how he goes. OA, says Ivan. And I hope the Crusaders have a new coach lined up, says Gary. Well, I hope that they just find a way of turning, to be honest, what is a very under-strength squad into something decent. Because, like, yes, you can blame the coach. And yes, people will say, oh, Razor's not there, so that's why they're losing. But you've also got to remember, like, I have a list on my phone that I saw. And that is of all of the players for the Crusaders who are not available this year due to either going overseas or injured at the moment. And the injured starting 15 / transferred starting 15 is an insanely good side that a lot of people associate with the Crusaders. But now, because of what has happened in terms of the players leaving, they don't have that capability anymore. They've got some good players, but so does everyone in Super Rugby Pacific. So yeah, it's going to take a bit of time. I've just found the injured list. Of course, Joe Moody is now back, but they don't have Cody Taylor, Tamaiti Williams, Sam Whitelock, Scott Barrett, Sione Havili Talatui, Ethan Blackadder, Richie Moonga, Lester Whainanoku, Jack Goodhue, Braden Enor, Will Jordan, and Fergus Burke. Now, that is not exactly a bad side. None of them are playing. And over under 50.5, I'll let you decide that one, football's finest. If you're the man doing the betting, you should know exactly what's going to happen in the game. I'm hoping Crusaders don't get their win tonight, sadly, says Heaney. And which MP teams are you going for, Hawke's Bay? Says Ivan. I mean, I'm quite a fan of the Wellington Lions. To be honest, all they've said, no sign of rain, so it does look a little bit better than it did earlier on. I see Ethan Blackadder's just randomly wearing a Speedo in the background of the changing sheds. It was the ref. And happy Easter, says Yikes. We'll find out the ref very soon, but both sides are now just making their way out of the tunnel for this contest. It's going to be an interesting one because both of these sides theoretically on paper, well, one of them is heavily advantaged on paper, but one of them in terms of the history books is much more advantaged. The last time that these two sides played in Christchurch, I think it was the Crusaders who got themselves a win, but it's a tricky one. Well, if all those guys are available, their record is 5-0, says Edward. Yeah, like, it makes a huge difference. And, like, yes, people can say because they don't have Scott Robinson, that is a reason that they're struggling. But when you say those guys that they don't have, you know, like, even, like, with those players, they're at least 3-2 this year, right? I think that they've still been beaten in a couple of their games because they couldn't quite get it right. Now, maybe that could have been the changes, but also because, of course, you got to give the benefit of the doubt to the other team who did put in some massive performances. I mean, the Hurricanes beating the Crusaders in Christchurch doesn't happen very often. The Blues picking up their first win over the Crusaders in 10 years at Eden Park. And Iola Namish says, Robert, welcome in. And Morning Orange, that injured list of the Crusaders is basically 75% All Black team, says Johan. Yep, 11 All Blacks were missing from the Crusaders side this year in that starting 15 that I mentioned just before. And Crusaders have a good chance to win against Chiefs 1-5, says Lasarusa. I mean, they've got a chance, but if it wasn't the Crusaders, I think that they'd be a lot higher on the betting odds, if that makes sense, because they are the defending champs and because they have got that Crusaders aura about them that they've had of past years, and people are expecting them to do that. Like, that's one of those things that I think has impacted the odds a little bit. Waikato Chiefs mana. We guys do something special for Easter anyway. Happy Easter for you, says Manus. I am not doing anything special for Easter, other than I think we've got about 8 more live streams that we're doing over the weekend. Angus Gardner will be the referee in charge of this one. Your comms are major. Says Lightfoot, thank you very much, mate. And also, they are professional. They can win without Razor. Are just not good enough, says Spider-Man. Yeah, they just need time to find chemistry because, like, a lot of these guys didn't even get minutes last year. You know, Jamie Hanna, Corey Callow, Riley Hohepa, he wasn't even signed for the Crusaders at the start of the year, but it's kicked off by Josh Jacob, who doesn't actually have a Super Rugby professional contract at this moment. He's only part-time filling in. It's nicely hit up by Cullen Grace for the Crusaders just outside of their 22. Now, this is going to be an important contest for these two sides. A lot of points available. And you want to get off to a great start at the start of round 6. And Che Fiaki puts that kick in behind. Kick forward by Johnny McNichol. Fiaki's trying to get back, but Sean Stevenson is there. And gets the pass away to Quinto Pai. Now on the outside of Tino Nanasatoro. Missed tackle from Cullen Grace, but Corey Callow drags him down. And Riley Hohepa off the boot of a Tino Nanasatoro does take the mark. So they both got to play at a fast pace, I would say, is what that indicates for the first minute of this contest. If we get a good ref, should be a good free-flowing game. Chiefs by 14. Says Yikes. And happy Easter, brother, says Marco. Right back at your mates. Kicked downfield by Riley Hohepa. Does get it into touch. 45 metres out from their own line now. The Chiefs will have themselves their line out. Looking at a Moni Narua way out on the wing here. Looks like maybe a cross kick could be on offer. Of course, his first start since coming back to get chance off the bench last week, but before that, the last time we saw him in action, I believe, was up against Argentina for the All Blacks. At least one of those early games of the Rugby World Cup. Xavier Rowe goes across to Luke Jacobson. He's been looking very strong as of late now. Xavier Rowe goes back across to Samasoni Taukiaho. Having to really fight for his spot in terms of All Blacks contention. There have been some great hookers in this Super Rugby Pacific competition. Josh Jacob takes contact. Ball's still there for Xavier Rowe. Goes off to Anton Leonard-Brown. Just attacking on the halfway line at the moment. No real gaps opening up in this Crusaders defence. Something that will definitely be a talking point is their line-out. They did lose more than 50% of their line-outs in the last contest. Here comes Josh Jacob. Look for the offload. It's not quite cleaned up by Dallas McLeod. And now Amoni Naro has got it back for the Chiefs. Rugby on Easter is really just an Easter egg hunt gone very wrong. Says Gus, I guess that's a good way of putting it in a way. Yeah, well, I love an Easter egg the size of the rugby ball, although saying that would also be very painful, I think, if you tried to eat it all in one go. Now going off to a Tino Nanasatoro. Tackled again by Quinton Strange. 10 phases in a row here, and they haven't been able to bust through this Crusaders defence as of yet. Okay, Angus Gardner says the ball's available. Stop pushing the ball into him. Chiefs trying to get cheeky and win an early penalty. Referee says no. Xavier Rowe back across now and behind Aiden Ross. Josh Jacob dragged down by Corey Callow. Happy Easter Dan, people. Here for the Easter soup, says Fluffy. And you've got a new picture by the looks of it, Fluffy. Your new picture is actually Fluffy rather than NZ Cricket. Now Waikato pass from Luke Jacobson. Gets it away to Kalen Boshier. Throws the forearm right into the throat of Severies. Last time I checked, that can get you in trouble. Josh Jacob, short ball. Aiden Ross still 40 metres out, and they're up to 16 phases now, the Chiefs. Now firing it in behind to a Tino Nanasatoro. He's tackled, he flicks it out the back door for Josh Jacob. It's out to Natoa Akoi. Tries the inside ball, but it's dropped by Amoni Narawa. Now offloaded to McNichol. Just stays in the field of play. And Tom Christie receives the offload. Oh, that was an ugly clean out on Manakai Selby Ricketts' knee. Back across Jay Fiaki on the halfway line. George Bell. In fact, it's Fletcher Null. There aren't many stoppages in this game so far. I think we've had the one, which was the mark. Now back across. Dallas McLeod sells the dummy, flicks it out the back door to Christie, and they're now into touch. It's me misses, says Fluffy. Well, that's very nice. I hope you two are very happy together. Johnny McNichol. Now that's a blast from the past, in it. Yeah, I think the last time he played for the Crusaders was back in about 2000 and I want to say 12, but that might be too early. But it was definitely a wee while ago, kind of mid-2010s, that we saw him playing for the Crusaders last. Of course, since then, got himself capped for Wales. Ball's available for the Chiefs. It's been dragged down nicely by the Crusaders, but they are 30 metres out, and it looks like the turnover was almost good in the breakdown. Ball is available there for Xavier Rowe. We're having pups, says Fluffy. This one's going to be kicked high. One of the earliest kicks from the Chiefs that we have seen. I believe that is the only kick now. Johnny McNichol does well under the high ball. Looks like he's taken straight to that number 11 roll. Doing very well now. Severus, oh, that was a shoulder charge from Atena Nanasatore. Forgot to wrap his arms and also forgot to make the tackle on Noah Hotham, who kicks it downfield. Fiaki wins the foot race, and the Crusaders, I thought there was close to a knock-on, but Jay Fiaki scores the early try, and the Crusaders are on the board first. Now let's go to Waikato Chiefs, boys. No, says Novmum. But yeah, unfortunately, Atena Nanasatore, he made two crucial errors in a row there. For one, he didn't wrap his arms, and then two, he didn't make the tackle down his wing, and it allowed the Crusaders to go through. Big shot there. And then he took a little bit longer to get back up, but then Nanasatore had opened up the gap for Noah Hotham, who kicked it in behind. And Xavier Rowe, he's a quick individual, but he does not win that foot race with Jay Fiaki. Thank you very much, Hokianga, for becoming a channel member as well. Very much appreciated. And yeah, slams the ball down. And today, cleaning Crusaders. Morning, Hamish, and all you Easter Rugby rockers, bunnies, says Roof, and Yo says Lightfoot. And there as well. And Dallas McLeod and Mitch Drummond starting for the Crusaders. Positive move in my books, says Joe Webby. And yeah, like Dallas McLeod, he's been in some very good form. We've got to remember he was an All Blacks bolter that didn't get many opportunities at all. Because, like, they picked him as a possible wing option. I don't even know if he may have got one game in that Rugby World Cup. But it wasn't a lot. That one's missed from Riley Hoyer, but he always takes one to get a little bit of confidence, but the score will remain 5-0 in favour of the Crusaders. I think the thing that will be frustrating for the Chiefs is the fact that they had 17 phases and they didn't make a metre up against this Crusaders side. And then Crusaders, they put together maybe 3 or 4 phases, go 50 metres and score the try to get them underway. But the Chiefs are not down and out. They have still got plenty more time to get back into it. Sitting 22 metres out from their line now, Noah Hotham goes across to the big man, Jamie Hanna, who's had to step up hugely throughout the season. But Riley Hohepa kicks it down the middle of the field, straight to the back three. This time, Sean Stevenson thought about the 50-22, but he will run it instead, trying to go through the gap. He's been picked up and dropped by Fletcher Nall as well as Quinton Strain. Converted, it was not no. They did end up missing the kick with Riley Hohepa. Sevu was the man who has power to win against the Chiefs. Says Lasarusa, now passed out wide though. Anton Leonard-Brown tries to chip him behind. It's an awkward bouncing one for Riley Hohepa. And he has to kick it towards the touchline. Does manage to get the ball out. In fact, tell you what. Was that taken out by Atena Nanasatore? No, it is going to be the line out for the Chiefs. That was very close to Atena Nanasatore actually jumping into touch with the ball in his hand here. Okay, that's an interesting one because he has jumped and then the ball's gone out. They've said that he was in the field of play, but then when he touched the ball, it was already out, so it was the Chiefs line out. Although the Crusaders have still managed to steal it at line out time anyway. Levi Moore trying to break his way through. Thought about the offload. Does decide against it. Dallas McLeod goes across to Cullen. Grace it hard by Manakai Selby Rickett. Now Hotham. Back to Riley Hohepa. Looks to get some distance on it, but Sean Stevenson is back waiting for that ball. And Tosso Chiefs Tosso says JMS now on the halfway line. Hard by George Bell. And Crusaders have to play like a champion, says Lasarusa. Across to Samasoni Taukiaho. A tackle on him by Jamie Hanna. Xavier Rowe goes back across to Aidan Ross. Are you commentating the Blues in Moana tomorrow, Amy? We are indeed. We've got 4 games in a row that we are doing on the channel tomorrow, so the voice is going to be struggling, and then alongside that, we've actually got a game before and 2 games after. Little grub in mind from Riley Hoipa. Good pace shown by Johnny McNichol. Putting the pressure on Josh Jacob. He's done well to stay in the field of play. Now 40 metres out from their line. Chiefs in position. Samasoni Taukei'aho again. It's the ball up that is already about his 4th carry of the first 10 minutes in this contest. Now put high by Xavier Rowe. Looks like Chefiaki running onto this one, but Kuin Tupaia doesn't manage to line it up. Got his knees down, so they do have to release him now. Xavier Rowe going to Taukei'aho, cross to Akui. And there's a penalty to the Crusaders, cleaning the man out off the ball. I believe that was Kalen Boshier who has been penalised for that one. And I said the bunny's on fire, Roofy. Says Fluffy. Right, we're on the phone for a very brief moment, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, the Wi-Fi's cut out. That is the second time now already on this live stream, and we've only been going for 27 minutes. But the last thing that we saw was Riley Hoipa kicking that ball towards the touchline. Now, the Wi-Fi should only be out for about 2 minutes. It's just being a word that I can't say on live stream. But yeah, the Crusaders starting this match extremely well, getting themselves the early 5 points in the try of Chefiaki. And now they are just waiting for another opportunity to be able to kick this one towards the corner. Try and get it over. Nice. If this were a steering contest, they should win easily, says Connor Cahill. But yeah, we'll be back very soon, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of the Wi-Fi. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Like the last time, it only cut out for about 2 seconds by having to Joe Moody and Ryan Crotty. And even in the reserves for the Crusaders, I believe they're both match fit. They have just decided to go with a little bit of a different look side in this match up against the Chiefs, rather than going with, I guess, all their eggs in one basket. Pardon the Easter pun. But yeah, the Wi-Fi will be back very soon. So hopefully we get to see whether or not the Crusaders do score that try. And another try, says Ivan. There is a chance. I mean, the Crusaders were very close in terms of where that kick of Riley Hoipa did go. Sadly, I cannot see where it is at the moment, though, is the only thing. Hey, Hamish, good to see you, says Lord Raptor. Good to see you too, mate. Hopefully we are keeping well. Come on, Chiefs ball finger. They scored. Oh, right. So this is slightly unfortunate. I do apologize for the Wi-Fi being rough, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, it's just one of those ones that no matter what, it seems like it's going to do it on every live stream I do for the rest of my life. So it's just loading back in now. We'll go back to the other one, and we'll get to see exactly who actually got that try for the Crusaders. There we go. We're back on the other one, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have to close that, and we're good to go. So we'll have a Wi-Fi cutting out count, eh? We're already up to 2 already, and we've only been going for a very short amount of time on this live stream. We're just getting the scoreboard back up, so we are ready to go. There we go. Stop freezing the time, Hammy. Says a Spider Mix. So Johnny McNichol as the player who managed to cross the try line for the Crusaders there, ladies and gentlemen. And now already the Crusaders do find themselves up 12 points to 0. A successful conversion from Riley Hoipa. And they're back in the box seat by Cullen Grace, taking this one inside of the 22 for the Chiefs. And Niall Hotham putting it back into the pocket. Jay Fiaki kicks it down the middle of the park. This has been a great start to the match for the Crusaders, and I think the Chiefs realise that they need to start firing back. But Sean Stevenson breaks through one tackle, dragged down to the second one though, and he was rolling forward. That's why Fletcher Null was not too happy there. We are good there. That's not going well for the Chiefs, and it's a knock on from them. Now across to Quinton Strange. There was a forward pass though, so they will go back for the original scrum in favour of the Crusaders. A moment, we will go like this. We will go like that. There we go. Who scored? So we're seeing 2 tries so far. One for Che Fiaki, and then the other one was for Johnny McNichol. And Amos Thanos says a fluff in. Also, basically, your stream cutting out is your own aspect of load shedding. Says gonna go. Oh, I guess it is in a way. And this is why I can't miss one podcast. All good. Says Robert, and interested in money, no fun. Says Bhavani. And also we get the OMG ham. I'm paying nothing for the score. Get together anymore. And I'm taking my thumbs up back. Says yikes, but Noah Hotham looks like he might have a little bit of an injury. I just realised Drummond was supposed to be starting this match on the original team sheet. So it's a little bit confusing with the fact that it's actually Noah Hotham. Noah Hotham is a women's sevens player, I believe, if I'm correct. So yeah, she's not quite playing in this game that I know of. Anyway. Alright, we will go like this. We will go like that as well. Now, it's going to be the scrum feed for the Chiefs. Only sitting 30 metres out from... scrum feed for the Crusaders. Sitting 30 metres out from their line. And that's going to be the penalty to the Crusaders. Quick jab taken by Noah Hotham. I should say, fend on Xavier Rowe, and he's wrestled into touch. And now means that the Chiefs will have themselves the line out. Hello, says Lyndon. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing well. Hey, what's up? Long time see you doing. Commentary says coding. It's only been like 4 days. Something like that. We're just the normal schedule coding. Now, Simasoni Tokiaho throws the ball in, nicely taken by Ngātoa Koi, but once again, another handling error for the Chiefs. This time it goes backwards. Leonard Brown trying to bust his way through the tackle attempt of Corey Callow. Is Damian McKenzie injured? He is, but I don't think it's anything serious enough to leave him out for a long time. I think he's going to be back in the near future. Moni Narawa now running forward. 30 metres out from the line. The Chiefs is almost as far up the field as they have been throughout this contest. Sean Stevenson had about 4 men on the outside, but decides he wants to go himself. Now, Xavier Rowe goes off to Kalen Boschia, tries the grubber, and it sits up nicely for Severis. He's only 5 metres out from his own line. The Crusaders defending this one. Chiefs have managed to get the turnover, though, with Josh Lord. It seemed like no one for the Crusaders was actually ready to join that breakdown. Good bit of hustle shown by the Chiefs. Josh Jacob, rush defence. Quintapaya gets it away to Stevenson. Cut out pass to Moni Narawa. And he will get his first try since returning for the Chiefs. And they get back into the contest. And good says in a like. And there's, oh, come on, Chiefs, get up. There's in a light in there as well. And also we have got there. Sorry, guys, first time I did my bow. I hope your 10 seconds of light comes back. Says Naz Williams. And nice, says Naz Williams. But yeah, Severis, he did manage to get back there. And then the Chiefs just committing more men to that breakdown, managing to win the ball back. And they made the most of it. So that now will only put us with a 5-point difference if this kick goes over, or 7. And the likes don't match the number of watches. Touch the thumbs up button softly, not aggressively. Says yikes, and also let's go. Says Lightfoot on Moni Narawa. Says Marco. And there as well. And D-Mac is just sitting out this game due to All Blacks requirements that require him to have at least 2 games off per season. Seems like an interesting game to pick him, though, to not play him in, doesn't it? And also out, says Bads Ablaze. Alright, we will go like this. We will go like that as well. But now Josh Jacob to line up this kick. It's just drifting away to the left-hand side, so that'll make the score 12 points to 5. Super Rugby is boring without South Africa. Well, you can also watch the URC, which does have the South African sides in it. We are actually covering the URC tomorrow morning, Leinster versus the Bulls. So we're going to get to see a top-of-the-table clash between those two sides. Should be a very impressive indeed. Sada Spent says in a light, and one player can't win the game for the team, says Spider Mick. I mean, I think McKenzie would disagree those couple of years ago when he kept on coming in clutch. And that was when the Chiefs, I guess their luck started changing. We've got to remember, only about 4 or so years ago, the Chiefs were a side that were losing every single game, and they had one of the longest losing streaks of a New Zealand side in Super Rugby. That's kicked out by Anton Leonard-Brown. I think they said that it might have been carried back, or at least the main referee said so, but the touch judge said no. So it is going to be now the line out on the halfway line. Who scored for the Chiefs is anonymous. It was Moni Narawa. I think I'm bad luck for the Crusaders. Every time I watch, they start to lose, says Lord Raptor. Now going to be throwing this one. I miss Billy, says Beds Ablaze. Now George Bell throwing that ball in, stolen almost by the Chiefs, although the Crusaders managed to clean it up. And also Crusaders, let's hunt for a win. Says eyes on my keyboard. Now Hotham. So they are going to be going for a kick up high here. Rush defense. Josh Lord manages to get the charge down. Cleaned up by Corey Callow. It looked like he was going to be passing that one. That's offside by Luke Jacobson, only by about 2 metres. Looking good. There you're back. I like the Terminator commentator. Nice offload to George Bell. He's now cutting his way through. Couldn't quite get the offload to McNichol. Noah Otham. Back across to Riley Hohepa. Amy Hanna. Crusaders are making a lot of metres, although saying that the Chiefs on the counter-attack, I think, have looked like the strongest side out of the two. Now out wide to Johnny McNichol. So hold the dummy on the inside. They're struggling to tackle him at the moment. Now Noah Otham, back to Bell. Hohepa behind to Chafiaki. The wide skip pass out to Cullen Grace, who's isolated. Tries to go over the top of Jacob. Now Hotham. Ooh, a little bit of a juggle there. A Fletcher all puts it down. And it's now going to be available for the Chiefs. Scrum McKenzie should have been fly half in the World Cup. Says Outlaw. You'll be getting WWE 2K24. You can throw weapons and super finishes if you have 3 finishes stored. Probably not until it's on special massively. Because I have a habit of, or at least I used to have a habit of buying a game when it just came out, not having time to play it, and then like only getting to really play it when it was finally on special, when I could have got it for a lot cheaper if I had just waited. Johnny McNichol running like a league halfback, says Marco. And weather looking good for Easter weekend in Cape Town, says Ruth. But yeah, that game taking place in Cape Town. The Stormers, they are going head-to-head with Ulster this weekend in the URC. Emoji Narawa, says Anonymous there. Do you think Sean Stevenson would have been in contention for first 5 for the Chiefs? Nah. Don't think so. Like, they have Josh Ioane, which they could have gone with, but instead they wanted to give Josh Jacob the chance and then have Josh Ioane coming off the bench. But yeah, I don't think they would have really considered him. Johnny McNichol now out on that left wing. I'll make to the right-hand side. Crossfield to George Bell. And that's the thing, like, he's playing well enough at 15, Sean Stevenson. They've given him a chance out on the wing this season as well. But if he's playing well at 15, you don't want to jeopardise that by trying to switch him up. That ball's come out the side once again. A little bit of lack of ball security there. That's knocked on by Anton Leonard-Brown. Good driving tackle from Severis. Looked like Anton Leonard-Brown tried to give him a bit of a kick afterwards, as if to say, don't tip me up, you fill in the blank. Now balls there for the Crusaders. Now ball security at breakdown for the Chiefs has been lackluster. They've got numbers here. George Bell, skip pass to Johnny McNichol. One more to Cullen Grace. Down the wing, he scores the try. Just manages to stay in the field of play. That is a try like you'd see in the NRL. And it's got 2 from 2 for Christchurch games this year for Cullen Grace. What's the game time? It is currently 23 minutes through. Has just ticked over 2. And also we have got there for real Chiefs. Are you going to hands them their first win of the season? Says Blues Nate. Andrew over the versus the Force tomorrow, strong game. We are going to be covering it on the channel, but the counter ruck from the Crusaders was good. Severis did well, and then George Bell passed out to Johnny McNichol. There was still a lot of work to do for Cullen Grace, but he manages to dodge the Amoni Narawa tackle. And Jaw just stays in the field of play. Oh, it looks like Johnny McNichol's injured. This is not good for the Crusaders because he's actually been a standout throughout the early stages of this contest. Looks like they're giving time off here I think Johnny McNichol might be... Hang on. Right. They're checking the tackle on Johnny McNichol. That's very late from Ngātoa Koi. So that explains why Johnny McNichol has stayed down. Yeah, he's got rid of the ball, and maybe about a whole second later, it's going to be a penalty on halfway to the Crusaders. They're just saying it's not going to be anything more than just a penalty, but it was dumb from Ngātoa Koi. He never had the ball at that point, so it's going to be the penalty on the halfway line. Okay. Johnny McNichol is still down though. Yes, penalty only. Let's the boys carry on. And Paddy sizzling, says Roof. Now Riley Hoihepa to line up this kick. It's not going to be an easy one, but it's right near the touchline, and they will have the penalty from the halfway line afterwards. Now, I don't think McNichol has made his way back onto the field as of yet. I think he's close to it. And Woo says Ivan. Now lining up this again for the Crusaders, it is Riley Hoihepa. He always takes one kick, but once he's got that one, gets a lot stronger, and that is a good kick. Straight down the middle, Narua versus Sevu. Says Lasarusa, two men who are both going to be going for that same position. And best commentator on the net says, Outlaw, thank you very much, mate. And you will be seeing a lot of me over this weekend, ladies and gents. We've got 3 games of the URC we are covering, including a game at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, New Zealand time. That is between Leinster and the Bulls. And then also we've got 4 games of Super Rugby back-to-back tomorrow. And then alongside that, then we've got 2 more games of the URC, maybe even 3, throughout the night that we are covering. So I'm not going to have a voice by Monday. I'm not going to get sleep. Once I wake up tomorrow, I think I'm up for about 32 hours. But yeah, she'll be fun. A lot of rugby on, but they are kicking us one for the touchline here. Hasn't found touch for the Crusaders. That is a massive mistake. And now Josh Jacob has the chance to run the ball forward. A fearless number 10 by the looks like Hamish stole my wife, she says. Gives him Zola Owl. Blues name, but yeah, the advantage now in favour of the Chiefs. They needed to put that ball into touch. Kicked to behind from Etenana Satoro. Knocked on by Jay Fiaki. No advantage. Etenana Satoro kicks it downfield, so that will now be, well, it should have been advantage over, but they're actually going to go back for the original penalty 70 metres down the field, are we? Yeah, they're going back for the original penalty 70 metres back. Okay, they're going to take the penalty back. An eye from Timarau. Pick the Crusaders and the Highlanders as a multi for this weekend. And Dozo Werger there, yes sir. The number 10 for the Chiefs looking awesome, isn't he? Yeah, the youngster, Josh Jacob, did do very well for Taranaki throughout the Bunnings ZBs. Was he Taranaki or was he? I think he was Taranaki. You stole her and you sold her. There's a difference, says Fluffy. And mornings, everybody. I see the Saders do good. Go the Saders, says Benjamin. And that one has found touch just. Pretty nice work from Johnny McNichol to almost keep that ball in the field of play. And Bulls forwards look stronger than Leinster, says Outlaw. I mean, they've got some very handy options. Gomedi's in there. They've also got Marcel Kutsia, going to be playing at number 10, going up against Josh Van der Flair in that loose forward trio. It's going to be a really good game of rugby. Nicely stolen by the Crusaders there with Cullen Grace. And it seems like what was happening last week for the Crusaders up against the Blues is now happening for the Chiefs up against the Crusaders. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. How this match has started. We're only 27 minutes in as well, ladies and gentlemen. We've got plenty of time left. Kick down the middle of the field. Sean Stevenson offloads it to Amoni Narua, who now has space to be able to run this one forward. But he's tackled early by Corey Callow. Xavier Rowe. Back to Tolkiaho. The territory of this game has definitely been in favour of the Crusaders. They managed to score themselves more tries throughout the early stages as well. Thanks, I'm too tight to renew Stan, says Nathan Smith. But yeah, we've got plenty of games happening over the weekend. The only Super Rugby one we aren't covering is actually the game just a little bit later on tonight. The reason behind that is because I do need to try and sleep, seeing as that'll be our only sleep we get for pretty much the whole weekend. Now, nice offload from Levi Moore. Keeping this ball in the field of play. The Crusaders, Riley Hohepa, across to Fiaki. Out to Tom Christie. One more to Johnny McNichol. Sold the dummy as if he was going to kick, but brilliant low tackle made on him by Sean Stevenson. The Chiefs wheeling around that breakdown. They've actually got away with it there, and they managed to get the turnover. Xavier Rowe back across to the left-hand side. Josh Jacob. More to the left-hand side. Leonard Brown to Amoni Narua. For race between him and Severese. He's tried the grubby. Reese has dropped it. I called it a grubby. I don't know what that is. No, I hope the Master Force it did. And they'll go back and play the scrum. Leonard Brown gives Severese a big slap on the shoulder as if to say, why don't you let me through there? Crusaders need to get momentum, move forward. Says Roof. But yeah, repeat errors from the Crusaders there. Severese, he actually did well to wait for that ball, but it popped up. Is that a knock-on against Leonard Brown, or is that a knock-on or forced back by the Crusaders? I think that it's going to be a scrum beat for the Crusaders, who scored again, says Anonymous. So we're seeing tries from Cullen Grace, we're seeing a try, from Johnny McNichol, and also a try being scored by Fiaki, and then for the Chiefs, Amoni Narua was the try scorer. Anonymous, can you shut up, says Bads Ablaze. Bit brutal, but yeah, I do try my best to read most of the chat, so you only have to really put it once, and I'll still see it. It's going to be a penalty to the Crusaders. You can hear your neighbours snoring, says Fluffy. I cannot know. And I got quite live neighbours now. And also we have got the Crusaders on a mission. Yeah, they look like they've come to play in this contest. They didn't like losing to the Hurricanes in Christchurch. Bow doing great, says Ivan. Yeah, he's doing well in the scrums. I haven't seen him with the ball in hand as of yet, which is probably the difference between him and Aiden Ross, because we did actually see Ross have a couple carries early. But when it comes to the scrum, Bow is doing extremely well. I think George Dyer is struggling quite a bit. Now another line out, though, and that has been one of the loosest part of both teams' games throughout this matchup. George Bell to throw it in. Good sell the dummy from the Crusaders to act like they were going to the front with the feint. And now going across to Levi Moore. Gets the offload away to Severese, who steps through, finds Christie. They need a jackler, or they at least need a clean out. They have managed to do so. Now Riley Hohepa tried to get the ball away. There is a knock on from the Chiefs. Will you broadcast Hong Kong Sevens? We certainly are. And hello, Big Boss Mr. Hamish, number one commentary. Cheers from Durban. Says Brian in there. And of course, the Sharks going to be playing later on in the URC. That is in about maybe 30 hours' time. We are going to be covering that game on the channel when they go head-to-head with Edinburgh. And first one for the Crusaders. They're looking good throughout this first half, although something that we can't underestimate is the ability of sides to come back in the Super Rugby Pacific competition. We saw the Chiefs were up 28-0 up against the Highlanders, and they only went on to win that game by 7 points, winning at 28 points to 21. We've seen other sides down by 20 points or so and managed to fight back and get it extremely even. And what's the TAB now, says Lord Rapture. So at the moment, the way that it sits, the Crusaders are $1.33 favourites compared to the Chiefs, who are $3.50. So it has changed drastically compared to the start of the match. Josh Jacob tried to get up and go again. Xavier Rowe on the short side goes away to Anton Leonard Brown. Reese looking for that turnover, but has been cleaned out well by the Chiefs forwards. That was a bit high from George Bauer with a tackle attempt on Quinn Tupaia. Okay, it is going to be the advantage now, I believe, for offside. Josh Jacob, he loves running the ball. Over there, kia ora. Nate, much love, brother. And Leonard Brown. So to try and find that next pass, goes to Sean Stevenson, who offloads it over the top. Ngātawa Koi drops the ball. And we'll go back for the original penalty. Look at there, hey, Brian. A happy good Friday in Dubs. Here's Ruth. Number 2, red offside, so that is against George Bell. Chiefs have the option of taking the 3 if they want it here. Or, once again, they can kick for the corner. Look to be that aggressive Yep, they're going for touch. Going for it one more time. And no, I just meant the Arcades people that didn't come out right. We have got their neighbours knock our door telling us not to feed. My dad told her we're not. Your husband did, says Spider Mick. Yeah, Josh Jacob already probably having about, I'd say, 80 metres run throughout this contest. Like I've just said, this is his first start in this position for the Chiefs. Xavier Rowe goes across to Quinn Tupaia. Xavier Rowe again goes to Jacobson. Are the Chiefs unbeaten? They are not. They have lost one game that was to the Reds. And then, other than that, though, they are 4 from the 5. Josh Jacob goes through again. Inside ball to a Tina Nanasatora across to Dyer. And the Chiefs get back into it. Brilliant work from the young number 10. I mean, he didn't do that last pass, but we call it an assist with the way he was able to set that one up there. Jacob not afraid to take the ball to the line. Nice one by the young fella. He reminds me a lot of a young Damian McKenzie, to be honest. I know that that's an easy comparison to make, seeing as he's wearing Damian McKenzie's jersey, but like he looks for the gap, sees that it's open, and just is willing to get hit hard for the sake of keeping that ball alive. And well, great play. Sears gets Sanel there. And now you did a misinterpretation. My fatal times. I will call the hit on your neighbours off then. Says yikes. George Dyer, the man who actually ends up scoring that try. Clayton McMillan, very happy with it as well. 34 minutes through this contest, and this game seems like it's going to be an extremely high-scoring one between these two sides. And Ike, thanks so much for backing Red Power. And George Dyer, the known player for a few seasons, keep rising. A bit of a gamble to start Josh Jacob at 10 for the game against the Crusaders, and it's worked out so far. I think that he's been very impressive for this contest. He's got himself, I would consider that as a try assist. He's also had, like I mentioned, probably about 80 or so running meters, beating 4 or 5 defenders. We'll get to see the stats at halftime a little bit more, but, you know, it's an interesting one. And Rez McKenzie Lowell says Bavani. And also we've got a couple of tries before halftime, Chiefs. And 2 tries, nothing in it. Said Nathan Smith. Now Xavier Rowe. Back across to Josh Jacob. Back into the pocket. Waiting as a Tina Nanasatora with his left boot. And does get that ball into touch. A very good kick. Come Chiefs. Says Rene, the Hurricanes are good so far. How long can it last? Katzenel. I mean, they've got a tricky game this weekend up against the Highlanders down in Dunedin. I feel like that is never an easy contest. And yes, the Brumbies were able to get themselves the win. But, you know, it could be a very close game. And also, I was thinking, who the F is this Jacob? Where's D-Mac? No, now Hallelujah. And make that one try. It's going to be overthrown by the Crusaders. Nicely taken by Kalen Boshier. Chiefs have the opportunity with 4 minutes remaining. They could still get back to an even playing field at halftime, although that is a kick out on the full from Etina Nanasatora. All right, Zion, quite surprising that the Crusaders are winning, says Ghostly Man. And come on, the Chiefs, says Christopher. And rings our cowbell. Says a Novmum there as well. Now, going to be throwing this one in here for the Crusaders and George Bell. Sides have lost, I believe, at least 2 of their own lineouts. So nothing is guaranteed, although that one is guaranteed now in the hands of the Crusaders. Riley Hoyepa, short ball from Dallas McLeod to Levi Amor. Might almost get held up for the rolling maul. Referee says it's just the tackle. Now Hotham goes across to Jamie Hanna. Across to Cullen Grace, who has already scored the try. Levi Moore bumping off Quinn Tupaia. Thought about getting into that breakdown, looking for the turnover, decides against it in the end. Corey Callow straight through. He's got Cullen Grace with him, but he just didn't give the pass when he needed to. Wanted to get that last contact in. I think it may have cost them the try there. How many games are left this weekend? So we are going to be doing 4 more Super Rugby games and 3 more URC games, I believe. So at least 7, maybe even 8 is the plan. So we've got a fair amount of talking left for the weekend, about 17 hours worth. Now, Fiaki on the halfway line, driving forward. Johnny McNichol, another slip. Seems like the dew is starting to play a bit of a factor. And this first half, Bell gets the offload up to Corey Keller. Now offloads away to Severis. Gets through Josh Lord's tackled attempt. Tokiaho loses his footing. Hotham goes off to Corey Keller again. That's the thing for a lot of these Crusaders boys. Of course, with so many names missing and so many names injured, this is a great opportunity to try and get yourself some more minutes for the season. McLeod skip pass out to Levi Moore, who's one-on-one with Amoni. Narua manages to keep that ball in the field of play. And when is the URC ending? Super Rugby is going to end. The URC will still be going. Yeah, it's a long URC season. I believe they have 18 weeks, but with the Champions Cup, it means that they do have those delays when those rounds are taking place. Big run from Quinton Strange. Moves up to 22 metres. Our Nato Akoi gives away the penalty advantage. Anton Leonard-Brown couldn't quite believe that he had been penalised. He said, "Who, me?" when the ref said that you impacted the tackler. So I believe it was George Bauer tried to go in to get the clean out, but Leonard-Brown's body was still, well, not his body, but he was still there. Waving to Sama Penifeno. Is he rested too? I think he's injured. Sama Penifeno now. But he might be in the same boat that they may have been resting him, whereas this match being out, it is in Christchurch for this contest. Yeah, they are saying that George Bauer wasn't able to get that clean out because of Anton Leonard-Brown being in there. Now Riley Hohepa to line up the 3 points. There are 40 seconds remaining in this first half. If the Crusaders are strategic, they should be able to use up a fair amount of this. I don't think that they'll have to have any more play for the first half of this contest. Still 25 seconds remaining, though, of the shot clock. I think they just said we will have time for a restart. Hope Chiefs come back. My multi depends on it, says Yikes. Now lines it up, Riley Hohepa, and he has got it over, so that now makes the score 22 points to 12. Oh, it is actually half-time. Oh, no, there's still time. The hooter didn't go. Wait, I mean, the hooter didn't go, so it's not half-time. I get that, but surely doesn't the referee ever watch? There was extra time with the hooter or something like that. There's a comment from Angus Gardner. The Crusaders are confused. The Chiefs are confused. They were running back to the tunnel. Now they've been told, hang on, you got to play for a little bit longer. Thought this game was held in Hamilton. We got ready to go to this game and figured I could just buy cheap gate tickets. And even now it's in Christchurch. That's probably very lucky you didn't go then, Johnny, or else it would have been very quiet. I say, do you watch IPL matches? I haven't had much of a chance to watch too many of them. I've seen a few highlights, but not a huge amount. And some fell asleep, says Katsanel. Now it's going to be kicked off by the Chiefs. Now we've got the siren. Reese in the pocket, puts it into touch, and now it is halftime between these two sides. So the score at halftime, 22 points to 12 in favour of the Crusaders. Now the Chiefs, they have got a side that have the capabilities of coming back in this contest, but the question is, can the Crusaders continue playing the way that they have throughout that first half? Because, to be fair, it's probably been one of their better performances we have seen throughout the season. Looking through at the reserve benches for the Crusaders, there's Mullen at number 16. And also they've got Sykes Martin and Owen Franks, Dom Gardner and Anderson. Then Noah Hotham was going to be coming off the bench. I assume that they have had to make a change though. Maybe that's either going to be Willie Hines or Mitch Drummond. Then Ravez Raihana and Macca Springer, the last two off the bench for the Crusaders. For the Chiefs, Bradley Slater, Jared Profit and Ruben O'Neill. Josh Tupou with Simon Parker. Then Cortez Ratama, Josh Ioane and Daniel Arona. So there's still plenty to come in this matchup, ladies and gentlemen. Looking at the table, the way that it sits, the Chiefs have got the capabilities. If they have a very strong second half, they can actually be sitting top of the table at the end of this contest. Of course, that is reliant on a bonus point, as their points differential won't quite get them to where they need to be. For the Crusaders, though, if they manage to win this game, even without a bonus point, they will move up to 11th. And I know that that doesn't sound like a lot, but it would be their first win of the season. So, of course, that will heavily help them in terms of confidence moving forward. Yes, Hines is on the bench. And when will the New Zealand team come to Pakistan for the T20 series? Who will be the players? Do you know what updates? I have heard nothing about that series. I know that it's still a little while until we get to see the Black Caps in action again after their test matches up against Australia. As what position is Josh playing? He will either play fly half or fullback. Like, they've got a couple options off that bench. You know, Daniel Rona, he'll go out on the wing, but yeah, Josh Ioane, he can play either fullback or 10 and probably slot in relatively well. Here come the charge in Chiefs. Better run Crusaders, says Roof. But we will have a quick look, ladies and gentlemen, to see some of the stats to do with that first half. I think one of the standout players for this half so far has got to be the youngster Josh Jacob. Also for the Crusaders, someone who I think has had an extremely good game. I'd have to say Johnny McNichol. Who are the captains for each team, says Joe Webby. So in this game, I believe the captain of the Crusaders, I think it's Quinton Strange. And then for the Chiefs, I believe it is Luke Jacobson. I think that's correct. I could be wrong about the Crusaders one, though, but I do know Luke Jacobson is the captain for the Crusaders. Looking through, Johnny McNichol, he has had 95 metres carried so far, alongside scoring the try. He's had 9 carries, 2 clean breaks, and also a try assist to his name. Then for the Chiefs, Josh Jacob, he's only registered 50 running metres, they have said. 10 carries, 4 defenders beat him, 1 clean break. And then also Sean Stevenson, he has had the most running metres out of any player for the Chiefs. That is because he has not passed the ball once, sitting on 92. Oh no, according to this, he's passed the ball 7 times. I stand corrected. I can't think of those passes though, but 8 tackles made by Noah Hotham and Cullen Grace. And then 12 tackles made by George Bell. So he is leading the charge. Strangers had 9 and 8 for Bauer and Fletcher Newell as well. And then Quintupai has made 9 tackles. 8 tackles made for Luke Jacobson and Josh Lord. So yeah, pretty even overall in terms of some of those stats that we have seen for the first half. In terms of running metres, Crusaders have got a little bit of an advantage. And a pass for a try for the Chiefs, says Joe Webby. And also, yep, want to pack in your cricket bag, says Fluffy. And also, you got lovely ears in Pakistan, there's problems. I think it might be cancelled, says Katzenell. And as well, but 14 defenders beat him for the Chiefs, compared to the 12 defenders beat him for the Crusaders. 7 clean breaks for the Crusaders, compared to the 5 of the Chiefs. And then 89 tackles made compared to the 66. The Crusaders having to make more tackles. I think something that would have given them a lot of confidence was early on in the contest when they made those 17 tackles in a row off the phase play of the Chiefs. They didn't concede. They didn't allow many metres to be made. And then from there, they managed to go down the field and Chiefs got himself that first try. But Amoni Narawa and George Dyer, they are the 2 try scorers for the Chiefs. Then for the Crusaders, we have seen 3 tries. Cullen Grace, Johnny McNichol, and Che Fiaki. Will the Chiefs win, you reckon? Says Max. I mean, it's a tricky one because, like, they have the capabilities of firing back 2 quick tries. It's just whether or not the Crusaders are also able to keep that scoreboard ticking over. I think that taking the 3 was a good move just because it gave them that lead by 10 rather than having the lead by 7. And it's a hard one because, like, both of these sides, I think, from here can win it. Looking at the way that the odds sit, the Chiefs are $3.30 underdogs compared to the Crusaders, who are $1.37, who kicked off. Says Max, so it was kicked off by the Chiefs, so they will be receiving the kickoff in the second half. And also, we look at their Chiefs will come back, watch. Says Nars Williams. And that's the thing, all it takes is an early try, the first 10 minutes of the second half. Like, at the end of it, we could see the Chiefs in the lead. But Yeah, it's a very tricky one to know who's going to come out firing more in that second half, because the Chiefs last week up against the Highlanders, their better half was the first half. Then they slowed down and the Highlanders managed to get 21 unanswered points. Chiefs not looking good. Should I cash out now or ride it out? Says Duck My Sick. Lovely name. It's a tricky one to say because I assume they weren't paying much at all for the Chiefs in terms of your multi, more than likely. Look at there, all the tries have been beautiful so far. There's been some very strong ones, the Crusaders. The 4-pack are in a huddle. The backline are in a different huddle here. So I think it's going to be clear, distinctive jobs expected from the two types of Crusaders players. For the Chiefs, they have to try and get that early try and close anyone's game, much better than the Crusaders this round so far. Yeah, Johnny McNichol, he's had an impressive start to this game. He scored a try, he's got a try assist, 58 metres made, as well as 2 clean breaks. He's just been heavily involved. Could be extremely influential throughout this second half. But like I mentioned, for the Chiefs, in terms of the players that they have got available off the bench, they've got Josh Ioane. I think that one of the commentators had just said that normally she finds the Crusaders very boring to watch, but she said that they're actually playing entertaining rugby today. Which, I mean, it's an interesting one, but, I mean, they've scored some very good tries. Their first 5 minutes will determine the rest of the Chiefs' season. And also, we've got their Chiefs not looking like champs, says, and although I say it every time, I think that a side that goes unbeaten during the regular season struggles in finals rugby, and the Chiefs, of course, already suffering that loss to the Reds, but being in the top 8, more importantly, being within that top 4, top 2, that will be exactly what the Chiefs are targeting. Yes, they will have setbacks along the way. That's not to say that they can't come back and win this game, though, but I feel like that actually helps you in terms of the long run. Do you think Drummond has made a difference this week? No, because he's not playing. It is Noah Hotham in the starting lineup and then Willie Hines off the bench. They did put Drummond in the initial named lineup, but yeah, they had to make that change relatively late. Not for the first time either. He seems to be a player that does get taken out quite late multiple times. Look at their high will go. The Chiefs, says Hanoi. Do the Chiefs have a chance? I put 500 on the Chiefs. Well, why did you do that, David? I feel like every single week we've been telling everyone in the chat not to put money on Super Rugby because it's so unpredictable. And pathetic Chiefs, says in a light. I kind of like her, says yikes. Second half just around the corner and 500 lol. Well, they could come back. The worst thing is, for that 500, you probably, I'd like to think you'll get a decent return, David, but it's probably nothing more than you could have got for putting $10 on another underdog. Oh, Johnny McTickle, back in the Reds and Blacks. Welcome home, lads. Should be a Hurricanes, though. Says Blues, Nate. And Waikato Chiefs, says Christopher Dixon, but we are not too far away from the second half of this contest happening, ladies and gents. And why baby needs a new pair of shoes? Well, you should have just bought the baby the shoes. You have $500. Just use that rather than back in. What was the return, David? Out of curiosity. Was it decent? Hopefully it was, then it made it worth it. Just get the odds again. They are currently sitting $3.30 underdogs, the Chiefs. And, it's going to be interesting. Stop making sense, Hamish, says Fluffy. Sure, if you can afford to lose. So you were going to make $225, right? So theoretically, that means you back them when they're about maybe $1.80 or something like that. Super Rugby has quite a few underdogs that have a good chance of winning a game. If you were back in Super Rugby, the Penrith Panthers came in as $2.30 underdogs And their game, if you had spent your money a little bit more wisely, you could have ended up doubling it and some if you had backed that game. Only the tinny houses and quack houses. And I was going to have this chat as a right and expensive stilettos, says a Fluffy. We have currently got ads for some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Panthers smashed them. Yeah, like them coming in as underdogs, I thought straight away, oh, yep, people are going to get a little bit of money from that. Of course, not myself because I don't bet on anything because I'm always wrong. But, yeah, like there are better options out there, I would say. They're backing Super Rugby. And come on, the Chiefs, says Chris, and Mackenzie and Finau, 2 players missing from the Chiefs got me worried when teams named. But it is what it is, says Joe. I honestly think that Josh Jacob hasn't done too much wrong at all throughout the first 40 minutes of this game. I would say that Ngātaua Akoi has not made the impact that Samapeni Finau has throughout the season. Like Ngātaua Akoi, don't get me wrong, he's been good off the bench, but in the starting lineup here, seems like he's really struggling. What's going on with the Crusaders? They're winning by 10 up against the Chiefs. Is that what you're asking? Like what's going, like as in like why are they winning by 10? Or are you asking why have they lost their first 5 games of the season? Which I feel like we tell you every week when you ask. But now, second half, I would say will only be about 2 minutes away. They are just showing the 7s. Of course, Hong Kong 7's going to be next week. Do you have an Easter egg today, Hamish? No, I did not. I did not quite have time, unfortunately. You could just buy some knockoff Jimmy Cho's for $25. I love betting on it and listening to your commentary, says David. So what part of the betting do you love, David? Out of curiosity. Because I know, wasn't it only like last week or the week prior, you lost like $1,000 on a team that were heavy favourites and then they lost? Was that you? I think it was. But what about it is so intriguing? Out of curiosity, how's it, Hamish? I really hope you're well, mate, says Birdie V. I'm doing all right, Birdie. We've got a big weekend ahead and repeat next week, says Yikes. Yeah. I think that this next 10 minutes, my question is how did they bounce back? Just like that after losing 5 games. Well, the game was not over yet, of course. We've got to remember that, week by week, things can change. I think that they've found a lot better cohesion in their side so far. And I think the Chiefs have been making some silly mistakes that have allowed the Crusaders to flow a lot better than they have been. Yeah, big weekend, going to be epic. Going Chiefs by 4, says Birdie V. Hi, I'm David and I'm a betaholic. Says Fluffy and the winnings. And yes, that did happen. Says David Rain. So you could have used that money to buy your baby a pair of shoes rather than having to bet it all now. Because or else then you'll be down $1,500. Now that's a lot of pairs of baby shoes. I know baby shoes are expensive because they try and charge the same price as adult shoes, which I don't understand. I feel like the smaller your feet are, the bigger discount you should get. But, it's just one of those things, isn't it? But $250 on the Chiefs because of the losing streak they were on. Should I write it out or cash out $20 right now? Oh, for $20, I don't think it's worth cashing out, to be honest. Like, if you were, no offense, in the nicest way possible, if you were silly enough putting $230 or $250 on, you shouldn't accept a $230 loss, even though the game's not over yet. Like, that extra $20 isn't going to make the difference between you being smart and you being stupid. Sorry, that sounded really, really brutal. I didn't mean it to be. But, yeah, like, you've come this far, and on a baby, my wife, says Betty V. Well, her feet are probably, that was David. Her feet are probably bigger than the baby, so those shoes will be more expensive. Get baby jandals from Countdown. There's no way they can just bounce back like that. But I'm happy, though. It looks like no changes. Starting lineup for the Crusaders. Cash out $20 and put it on the Rebels by 10. Do not do that. Do not listen to Hanoi. Matt Dodd, aka the Crimson Chin. Do you play EAFC 24? I do not know. Also, what do you guys think? Who do you think is going to win tonight? The Cowboys and the Broncos. Is that because you've already got money on them or because you're trying to work out who to put your money on? It's going to be kicked off, though, by the Crusaders. Only 12 points the difference. Yeah, like, that's the thing. There's still plenty of times because can the Chiefs win? They've got to come back. Like, they've got to do well in the second half and definitely the first 10 to 15 minutes. They're in possession inside of their 22. Josh Jacob goes across to the try scorer earlier on, George Dyer. As you stream the Bulls versus Leinster later, we are indeed going to be. Yeah, be sure to pop in for that one. Do you think the Rebels will win later tonight? Says the reviewer. I think it's going to be tough for them. I feel like the Waratahs, they narrowly missed out up against Fiji and draw in Fiji. So I feel like they'll do all right. Score the tries for the Crusaders in the first half. Che Fiaki, Johnny McNichol, and also Cullen Grace. Do you think you can become #1 Kiwi YouTube streamer? No way. Not at all. We've had some good moments in terms of streaming, but nah, I'll leave that for someone else. I feel like that would be too much responsibility. Noah Hotham goes across now to Hohepa, short ball to Dallas McLeod. He busts through one tackle attempt of Atena Nanasatori, who's really had a underperforming game. So far, the turnover is good, though, from the Chiefs in the breakdown. Now Xavier O kicks it downfield, and he's kicked it out on the full. Another mistake, Cowboys all day. What's the game's coming up? What time so I can wake up, says Naz Williams. So tomorrow morning, we are going to be doing the Bulls versus Leinster. And that is at 8:20 a.m. is when we are going to be starting that one. Super Rugby, 2 p.m. all the way through to 11:30 p.m. tomorrow. That 9.5 hours, we are covering 4 games back to back to back. And then the next night after that, 2 a.m. and 6:15 a.m. are the ones that we are doing. To make some good money on USA Professional Baseball today, says David Rain. Now back across Riley Hoyepa after the line out. Missed pass. Not quite going to Che Fiaki, although he's looping around now. Severis shows off some acceleration, just slips though. Looks like it is quite greasy out there. At the moment, Hoyepa, short ball to Bell. He's carving his way through, and he's winning the foot race against Josh Jacob, and he scores the try. That is a fantastic try from a hooker. Cash out for $20, put on the Super Round 2 Riverton tomorrow. Says Tibu. I got 500 on the Cowboys, got the Broncos. Got no Walsh and Haas. And I was like, howdy, Hamish, says Bear Flavel, welcome in, mate. You're doing extremely well. A nice run from George Bell. And just pins the ears back. Justin Marshall's got a hard on. He's loving the Crusaders' performance at the moment. He has been waiting patiently for them to really fire up this season, and now they're starting to perform in the way that he needs them to. Ring the bell, says Vic Mars. And appreciate you, Hamish, says David Rain. And he said, FFS Chiefs, says Nov Mum. And FFS Chiefs, says Christopher there as well. And solid run, says Blues. Yeah, very good run from George Bell. Managing to carve his way through. Now that makes the lead for the Crusaders just that little bit more substantial. Sitting 27 points to 12. Trying to make it 29 here as Riley Hohepa. And he's missed it out to the left-hand side. Hello, Marshall, says Naz Williams. I should have cashed out for $20. It's going to be 10 now, lol. I think you're missing the point of the fact that no matter what, you're losing over $200, which is not good. And Crusaders go, boys, says Ruth. So the Crusaders of old, they're back, Hammy. They've had one good game. And, that is exactly what they needed. 27 points to 12. They've got a 15-point lead here. There goes my $500. Poof. Wow. That's gambling, isn't it? Josh Lord and wrestle towards the touchline. Xavier Rowe goes off now to Samasoni Tolkiaho. Chiefs are currently considered as $6 underdogs. Trying to get in there with Severis. Doesn't get it. Josh Jacob going across to Samasoni Tolkiaho. And also come on the Chiefs. There's Christopher, big run from Boshier. Cullen Grace, though, trying to go through the gate and get that turnover. And just the Marshall versus the Kiriwani has kicked him behind. Nicely cleaned up by Che Fiaki. Kicked him behind from Riley Hoyer, but Justin Marshall just needs to be less biased like you, Hamish. He would be a good commentator, says Joe Webby. Amoni Narawa taken down early by Riley Hoihepa, but the Chiefs, they are still in possession. Anyone need a kidney lol? Says David. And Tupaia broke through one, but then he's knocked it on. Wait. Okay. Angus Garner couldn't decide if it was a knock on or knock back. In the end, the Chiefs have still got the possession. Now he calls it as a different knock on. I don't mind losing this one tonight because Cowboys will get me right. It sounds like a gambling addiction, but yeah, hopefully they win for your sake. Otherwise, you won't be a flash day. Come on, says Cruz. And I'll get in there, Quinny. They're just showing the bench that they've got available. Daniel Rona, Joshuani, Cortez, Ratama, Parker, Tupou, O'Neill, Prophet, and Slater for the Chiefs. And they're going to have a big job to do. Tomorrow I'll put 400 to Blues win, Hammy. Says Spider-Meg. That wouldn't be worth it. The Blues they're like not even like favourites worthy of betting on, are they? They're paying $1.08. Now, I can't do the maths off the top of my head. That means every $10 you put on them, you get 80 cents. For every $100 you put on them, you get $8. That's a lot of money to lose just for the sake of adding a couple extra dollars. Now, scrum feed nicely claimed by the Crusaders. Johnny McNichol with the chip and chase. Josh Jacob is back there. He's taken it very nicely. And the Chiefs get the ball back. All one good game does not make for a turnaround. At the end of this tournament, it will still be the worst performance by the Crusaders, says Arthur Harrison. And a Minnesota is going to win another title. And this game sucks donkey, says Novmum. I don't know what sucking a donkey is like, but must not be good, I guess is what you're saying. This game has not been good for the Chiefs. Put $100 on the Chief. Just now, David has inspired me. Oh, okay. Well, that's a $100 donation to the TAB, isn't it? Now 25 metres out, new channel member, Xavier Brown, welcome back, mate. You are keeping well. Question, are you happy with how the Rebels are doing this year? I feel like they've done a lot better at the start than a lot of people anticipated, to be honest. 25 metres out. Across to the right-hand side to Fletcher. No, the Crusaders are on attack again here. One more try would actually almost put them in a position of a bonus point. They can get one more on the board. Now, short ball. In fact, they would need two more on the board. I just put 150 for the Chiefs, says Toxic. Okay. Smart move. Not. And Brian has said, Amish, you have a unique style of commentary which your subscribers appreciate. You focus on the game as well as the time to reply, post the comments. I like your sense of humour, says Brian. Thank you very much. It was almost a word, wasn't it? I tried to say thank you very much, but I kind of messed it up. That looks like someone's down for the Chiefs, but it's kicked downfield by Josh Jacob. Waiting for the awkward bouncing ball. Riley Hoihepa is ready for it. We're doing the same woeful. Beat the force of Moana. Get trashed by the Kiwi sides. Nothing has changed, says Xavier Brown. That's another penalty, this time going the way of the Chiefs. They are 49 minutes in. Professional sports bettors only average 50% win rate. If you get over 60%, they win, or they will stop taking bets from you, says Defunk. All dollars goes to gaming, commish, serve life saving, non-profits, or profits, says Lightfoot. I was aware that Uncle Brett would growl us for picking on Quinton Pyer. Start making fun of your cousin. What do the Chiefs decide to do here, though? This is an important part in the game. They have to either kick it for the corner. It looks like the Crusaders bench is just about to warm up. Yes, Rebels done okay. I just need their new recruited Wallaby forwards to step up more. Just trying to work out who's actually making their way onto the field here for the Chiefs and the Crusaders. A lot of players warming up. Looks like it's going to be Jimmy Tupou, the first who makes his way on. Going to see Josh Lord. Ooh, yeah. He has just hurt his ankle. You can understand why it hurt. It went the wrong way. Look at that big, I was going to say a big moan, but that's not the right word. A big screech. Probably the better one.
Joe Rogan did a podcast with America's Best Ever Sports Better a few weeks ago, episode 2107. So we have to watch to anyone that bets, says Defunk. That's a huge amount of tape on Josh Lord's ankle. If they're going to make him continue, this seems very risky. And she's going to dominate in the next 30 minutes, says Toxic. You should watch it too, Hammy, so you can maybe help some people here in the chat, says Defunk. We've tried helping people before, but they normally ignore us and put on more bets. Rolled, says a light for. Although I think for a start it got stuck, didn't it? And then he just kind of twisted it awkwardly. Josh Jacob now to kick this one towards the corner. Chokin is the best ever trotter, the Lyle Creek. Right, Xavier Rowe now making his way from the field for Cortez Aratama. An early halfback change for the Chiefs, but they need something different. They need to find a way of getting back into the contest. I'm just joking, says Max. And it is possible to win. Just have to keep a cold head when making the picks. Back up to his feet. Said that he wasn't. How now Ratama goes across to Kalen Boshi, who actually had to take the pass on his knees. Tokiaho moves within 5. This is the best chance for the Chiefs of the half so far. Back across Jacobson. Goes in behind to Sean Stevenson. Flat ball to Anton Leonard-Brown. Hotham trying to get on the ball. Almost got the turnover. Ratama lined up. Now big fend from Luke Jacobson. Works just a little bit closer around the side. Boshier is close, but he's short by the looks of it. They're trying to free up the ball. It's not coming up. It's held up. And it's going to be the goal line dropout. Next rugby bet being offered here is New South Wales versus Melbourne Rebels. Any predictions? Not for you. Because or else then if I get it wrong, then that loses you more money for the day. But the house on the Rebels says Fluffy. How did Josh he get hurt? Was he sucking the donkey? That's not a saying that's going to catch on, I have to say. Riley Hoyepa. Now with the drop kick. Good distance. He was originally signed to the Chiefs, wasn't he? As a Super Rugby wider squad member, I believe, before the Crusaders decided to offer him that contract. Kikaha Chiefs pull out the patu, says the Blues no. Atoa Koi. Tackle well. No. Taukei'aho goes across to Stevenson. Lord trying to bust his way through to Leonard-Brown. Chiefs are making a lot more meters here. All they need is a quick fire try and they are back in this contest. Let's go. A few more of those, says Duck My Sick. Now Ratama goes to Quintupaya. Chaifiaki. Oh, he was almost on it. They've got the knock-on advantage, though, I believe, in favour of the Chiefs. Now, Josh Jacob shut down extremely early by Christie. Rebels are $3.20 underdogs, or 320 underdogs. Aye. So the Crusaders are having a better day today. They certainly are doing nicely at the moment, but the game is not over yet, and the Chiefs are still hunting their third try of the contest. So the Chiefs playing bad because there's no Damien. Just having a bad day, or the Crusaders just improved. That's a lot of questions all in one. For one, Damien McKenzie, don't get me wrong, he probably would have helped this game, but I think Josh Jacobs done not too badly in that number 10 jersey for his side. I think that the Chiefs are still having a little bit of a bad day in terms of that handling at crucial times. They've been getting it wrong alongside some penalties that they have been given away. They've been good in the breakdown, though, in terms of being able to commit those extra men. Josh Jacob has another crack at the line. Wrestled down. Crusaders players losing their footing. Ratama goes across to Anton Leonard-Brown. Colin Grace tried to go for the strip. Doesn't get the turnover. Now Taukei'aho. Jamie Hanna's got his ankle. Your the Saders are back, Hamish, says Mr. Orlin. And good to see the Crusaders win, make smart choices to get the tries. There's a knock-on now, though, from the Chiefs. And this is bad, really bad, says Novmum. Still 26 and a half minutes remaining. 13 more phases that the Crusaders have had to defend. Was there an arm wrap there from George Bell? I mentioned about it earlier on in the tackle attempt of a Tino Nanasatori. Now, he has actually been hit with maybe a shoulder of his own. And now Crusaders, says Lord Rapture in there as well. Tackles missed so far. We've seen 17 missed by the Chiefs compared to the 21 actually missed by the Crusaders. What happened to Fergus Burke? He is injured alongside about 6 other crucial Crusaders players. And she's not disciplined tonight. Yeah, they've made some unforced, silly errors, to be honest, that we're not used to seeing. Putting 500 on the Rebels, I'll win 1,600 plus my 500. Unless they lose, David, then you'll lose 500. Plus the 500 you're losing in this game. That'll be losing 1,000 twice in a row for the rugby. I don't know about you, but that's not a good profit margin. That kind of sounds like it's going the other way. And at least Crusaders are doing something they are known for, discipline and tries, says Helen Howe. And I will back to the drawing board next week, says Novmum. And oh my golly goshness, Chiefs, says Marco. They've been told to play it, so Noah Hotham goes off to the left-hand side, out to Dallas McLeod, tries the grubber. Johnny McNichol chasing hard after it. It's knocked on by McLeod. And Moni Narawa now has it for the Chiefs. Here comes a Tino Nana Satoro. Tries the boot off the left. It's not going out on the full, so that is a good start for that man, Riley Hoepa. Kicks it into the 22 of the Chiefs. Josh Jacob has plenty of time. Does put that ball into touch. Does Reese want it quickly? He decides against it. This guy with his quick papa from Tahui. And I hate seeing Chiefs lose, but rather lose and throw bad games. And now then later, says Heaney. And Chiefs should have just ran the ball straight instead of kicking. They might as well give the ball to them, says Duck. And I also love you, RC, says Spider Me, believe I am more. In position now, Noah Hotham. Put another kick up by Fiaki, chasing after this one. Doesn't get it, but Josh Jacob lined up by Fiaki and Grace. Ball is almost turned over. He's coming through the side. Kiwi Lad Show is cool, says Tony Russell. Thank you very much, Tony. And 80 minutes really ain't that long, especially when there's only 20 minutes actual playing time. Should make games 100 minutes, says Nathan Smith. I know that in the rugby, they're trying to work out how they can get more action into a game rather than having about 20 or 25 minutes of scrums, which is fair enough. At the end of the day, that's probably what's made this game a lot more free-flowing. The fact that we haven't had too many scrums taking place. But Sever Reese has managed to keep that ball in the field of play after the mistake off the kick for the Chiefs. Now Johnny McNichol kicks it in behind, and it was touched by a Chiefs player. Luckily for that Chiefs player, though, ball stays in the field of play. Sean Stevenson tackled on the halfway line. Now going to the short side, Cortez Ratama away to Quintupaia. Irish smashes it out of the park every time. Exciting as hell, says Ruth. And also Blues also played rugby for Hutt Old Boys and East Tamaki. Now Anton let it round, tackled by Jamie Hanna. Chiefs saying it was maybe a little bit high. They may have had a fair statement there too. Now Ratama. High again off his left boot. An awkward one to line up. Riley Hoepa's done well. Now gets it across to Fiaki. Straight down the middle. Sits up inside of the Chiefs 22. Now Josh Jacob again. He was just inside, they've said. I thought that maybe it wasn't, but it is going to be now Crusaders with the line-out throw. Looks like the changes are coming now. We're going to see Josh Ioane. Also going to see Bradley Slater. Couple more changes in the front row for the Chiefs as well. Do you think the Hurricanes will smash the Islanders by 10 plus? I'm not telling you that because you're just going to bet on it. And we have got there Tainui Hard, says Adrian. George Bell throws that one in, nicely taken by Jamie Hanna. Hoepa goes across to Dallas McLeod, knocked on by Sevu Reese. Gives the ball straight back to the Chiefs. Sean Stevenson chasing after that one. He's wrestled into touch. It's going to be a line out now for the Chiefs, 20 metres from the Crusaders line. Chiefs' latest boy band, No Direction, says, and a light, what's the point of kicking just to give it back to them? Says, Cruci, sometimes it works if you're playing the territory game and you find gaps in behind. But, yeah, we've seen a lot of aimless kicking from the Chiefs in this game, and it's been costing them a lot of metres. Cortez Ratama short ball to Quinn Tupaia. Australians with a run of his own now. Short ball from Jacobson. Lennart Brown is through. And the Chiefs score again. They don't want to give up in this contest. There's still enough time for them to come back a little bit more too. They are currently sitting as $7 underdogs before that try. I think that one's going to change it quite a bit. And rings cowbell. And also we go there, let's go the Crusaders, says Vito Skux. And let's go, says Duck My Sick. Is Josh Ioane related to the Ioane brothers? He is not, no. And just 2 more of those, please. Says Duck. You're an awesome commentator. Thank you, says Adrian. Thank you very much, mate. We've got plenty more coming up this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. We have got Super Rugby, 4 games, back to back tomorrow. And then also alongside that, we're doing the URC tomorrow morning at pretty much 12 hours time, 8:25 or so, is when we're going to be starting that one. It is Leinster versus the Bulls, so a massive game in the URC. Be sure not to miss it. And then, of course, the URC tomorrow night being Sunday morning, New Zealand time. You think Crusaders will win, says Richie? I mean, that try of the Chiefs says that it's going to be a little bit more difficult as they are now down by only the 8 points. And David, you put 500 on the reels. Do you think Crusaders... Oh, no, I read that one. Didn't I? Rightio, Chiefs, let's go, boys. Let's get it. They say you don't want to give a prediction because a viewer's going to bet on it. If you remind us of the betting odds, I love it. Says Paul. I mean, I don't so much as remind you of the betting odds for the sake of saying this is the best time to put a bet on, but more so that you know the percentages of who has momentum in the contest. And a lot of the people on the channel understand those betting odds. So that's the way we do it. Like, we could do it percentages, but like, I don't know where to find a percentage of what the odds are. I'll try and Google it, tell you what. We'll try and make you happy, Paul. Super Rugby, what we got? We got any type of percentages? No, just news on the game. Never mind. See, in cricket, you can look at the percentages, and that's what we do rather than the odds. But in rugby, there's no, like, predictor type thing for Southern Hemisphere rugby. Now, George Bell, he's throwing this ball in. There looked like a hesitation at line-out time, and it also wasn't straight. And there should be a live AI predictor. I agree. Normally, there is in the Six Nations, as well as in the URC, they have the live win predictor, but for Super Rugby, they don't seem to have that option. I'm a degenerate gambler. I bet on this, but I have everything on Carlton in the AFL, says Paul. And also the Chiefs need to get going, otherwise chasing going to be hard, says Yikes, but it's kicked up extremely high from Sean Stevenson. They actually went with the kicking option rather than a scrum or a line out, but Johnny McNichol now kicking it back downfield himself. Will they go over 33? The Crusaders or the Chiefs? Or a bit loose from Chafiaki. I think that's actually going to be taken back. Does try and run it. Gets the offload away to Macca Spring, who's got heavy bracing. And tell you what, the Crusaders have balls this up, is the best way of describing it. They went from looking comfortable inside of their 22 to looking like they were extremely panicked and didn't know how to get out of it. And they're putting together a few phases. I believe they will have to kick this one downfield. And also put 500 on the Kiwi. Says the Blues no. And it's also a 27-19, says Mr. Bravestone. It is indeed. The scoreboard just hasn't updated. And that kick has gone out for the Crusaders. They probably lost a good 30 metres or so in terms of that territory battle. Gives the Chiefs another opportunity to look to attack. Everyone put 500 on the Chiefs, says Matthew. Bradley Slater throws it in, nicely taken by Josh Tupou already. We're starting to see the impact that the bench are having in terms of the attacking play. Oh, stolen by Johnny McNichol. I was just praising the bench, but it's Josh Ioane who throws the interception. McNichol scores the try between the sticks as well, and that may just be enough to keep the Crusaders in the lead. We have got there, players are fitter, faster, stronger now, and there's plenty of reserves, but playing time's still the same, says Nathan Smith. But that is the second try for Johnny McNichol of this game. He's also got a try assist. No, it was Josh Ioane through the pass straight into the hands of Johnny McNichol. Noticed it early, runs it in. Still another 17 minutes remaining, but the Chiefs have just made their job even harder to try and get back into it. And yeah, I couldn't have timed that any worse in terms of praising what the players off the bench have been able to do. And next year I'll be dropping 100 on the Waiahini to win the NRL, or the WNRL, says Defunk. Cardigan Boy, or Cardigan Bay, sorry, the first horse to win $1 million in history, says Spider Mech, but now lining up this one. Nice and easy. And it does go over for Reves Rayhana. Person in the crowd has a sign saying we came all the way from Germany to watch the Crusaders. They probably got very lucky that this was the game of the season that they ended up going to it. However, there, can you update the score is wrong, says Najika. It's only wrong because it was waiting to see whether or not there was a conversion before it added the extra 2 points rather than updating it twice. I put all your money in the Cowboys. They are 2 of the table. It means steamrolling teams. The Broncos have no Walsh and Haas, sorry. Now sitting just inside of the 22. Stevenson kick brings a throwing vibe in this game, eh? Says Mr. All-In. Be partially charged down by Ngātoa Koi. And it's actually going to be a Crusaders line out now due to that kick being charged down by Akoi. Sounds like there are more subs that are going to be made. Looks like now it is Daniel Rona making his way onto the field. I think that's going to be for Quinn Tupaia. Yep, that is the change. Hamish, a bit late. What did I miss? So, you've missed the Crusaders actually having a much better performance in this contest than what we have seen in a lot of their other games. That one's gone over the top from Bow. Cleaned up. Reves Ryan, another line break for the Crusaders. He's kicked it in behind. And it's just going to be in the field of play. So Stevenson has to deal with it. Wrestle towards the touchline. They're only 5 metres out from the line now, the Chiefs. Samapini Fina. In fact, no, sorry, it is Tupou and the penalty for offside. Mate. Oh, hang on. Yep, it was. Referee had the wrong arm up for a second. Dangerous tackle made by Jamie Hanna. They made that little mistake there. Could be sus there, Marco. Well, keep it up, please, Sader, says Lord Rapture. The Chiefs have still got 15 minutes. Is it just me or is this clock going probably the slowest that we've seen it go throughout a Super Rugby Pacific game? It just seems like the time is not ticking over as quickly as some of those past games, but that is because every second is important at the moment for the Chiefs because they are down by the 15 points. They need another try here to get them back into the contest. Look at there, Chiefs. Hayne Plain has crashed, locked away the dog. So here's Marco and tries 6-3 for the Crusaders. Bonus point for them. So here's Johan De Bruyne. Although I think at the moment they've only got the 5 tries, the Crusaders, in this game. They've got George Bell, Cullen Grace, 2 for Johnny McNichol, and then also Chaifiaki. So they've got the 5 compared to the 3 of the Chiefs as we currently sit. Now Chaifiaki kicks it down the field. Looks like there was a bit of an injury for one of the Chiefs players. Bit of a mistake at the back from Sean Stevenson. Now looking to run through, but Chaifiaki, his opposite number, has made the tackle on him. Looks like he's suffering a little bit of cramp as well, Fiaki, in the process. Do you think Sever Reese would have made the World Cup last year if he wasn't injured? If yes, then who is he going to replace? If no, then what's your reason? He probably would have been in there, and I assume that they would have put him in for, like, to be honest, probably Dallas McLeod. If Dallas McLeod even made the... Oh, did he miss out on the All Black squad? I can't even remember who they had in the All Black squad. Probably, like, Narawa may have missed out for Reese, just for that extra experience. They're just showing there, Crusaders being 0-5 is the worst start to a season by a reigning Super Rugby champion. Barrett Havili Moody, Jordan Blackadder. Just get to the top 8, boys, says guess who. And total points more than 60, says Richie. You're going to have to make that decision by yourself, mate. Now inside ball. See taken by Reves Rayhana, Noah Hotham. Goes across to Quinton Strange. Chiefs have had to defend quite a lot throughout this contest. And like I mentioned in their last game up against the Highlanders, they were up by 21 to then go down, to concede, their 3 tries in a row. They did still win that game, help me bro. I'll tip, says Richie. Yeah, but if you lose your money, then you'll be angry at me. That's the situation we find ourselves in. Because I've had it before. People have been like, hey, can you give us some information? And then I give it, and then they lose their money, and then they send me abusive messages for like 2 months. And now, Josh Ioane, in behind, kick downfield, and it does go into touch. Oh, this looks like Quinton Strange might actually have a maybe quad injury. I won't, bruh. I'm a millionaire. Okay. As long as you're not betting a huge amount on it. But I like, in terms of the more than 60, I think that at the moment we've got a total of 55 points. So, yes, I would say they will have... Oh, is that right? Did I do the maths right? No, I didn't. It's only 53, but a converted try is 60. Was it more than 60? More than 60 is tricky because that is 2 tries pretty much, or 2 forms, but still probably. I don't know. I'm terrible at predictions. 51? No, we have 53 in total. I just show on all the games that are taking place tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, that we are covering on the channel. We are going to be covering the matches that do follow. Fijian Draw versus the Western Force. Then we are going to get to see Moana Pacifica versus the Blues. Then it is the Highlanders versus the Hurricanes, and then the Reds taking on the Brumbies. Ash, what do you think is the reason the Crusaders are playing better in this game? I think that they've found a little bit more chemistry in their backline. I think that Johnny McNichol has been a real standout that they haven't been using throughout the past games, but I think they certainly will be using him in the future. I think that Dallas McLeod's had a relatively solid game, and I think Noah Hotham stepped up in a way that he hadn't throughout the other games that we've seen him play. Severy's playing, he is indeed. He's had a relatively quiet game. Overall, how much time? There's still another 11 and a half minutes. Can I send you $100? Says Cruz. You don't have to. That one's going to be kicked in behind. Daniel Rona manages to clean it up. If you're going to bet, I risk a little to make a lot, and not risk a lot to make a little. Put them for more than 60. I'm putting $900 US. Well, that seems like too much to put on. But I guess good luck. Now going to the right-hand side. Run forward from Daniel Rona. Ratama. Quick hands. Nice offload to Nato Akoi. Got a bag. McNichol, though, has knocked that one on. He only got one hand to it. So it is just a knock on, they have said. Now Ioane trying to go through. Please, says Cruz. Dallas McLeod, far superior to David Havili. It's gone wide. Inside ball to Anton Leonard Brown. I hope your bet's gone through because they've already scored another one, the Chiefs. And Cortez Ratama manages to score it again. He scored a few of those nice inside ball tries throughout this season. The Chiefs just won't stay down. Every time that it looks like the Crusaders have got them, then the Crusaders miss a tackle. Sean Stevenson got the kick in behind. Tino Nana Saturo quick as lightning to get in behind there. 10 more minutes, let's go the Chiefs. Yeah, still 10 minutes remaining. And there's time left on the clock. Tomorrow prediction says Toxic. I mean, we've got 4 games back to back to back that we're going to be watching on the channel. This game is not food for the told ticker. Oh, okay, they were just checking something, but that kick has gone over now. It's not over until it's over. I mean, that is true, yeah. But can I still send you it, says Cruz. I mean, like, we have donations on the channel, if that's what you're asking. But, like, it's hugely appreciated, but we put it all straight back into the channel anyway. Like, I don't make money. But it would get us another light, probably, which would be quite handy at this time of the year, when she's starting to get a bit dark early. Comeback, says Annoy. High score prediction indeed, says Mr. Holland. So now currently we have had 60 points scored in this matchup, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be kicked off by Reves Raihana. That's knocked backwards by Natoa Koi. Oh, Johnny McNichol may have eaten his tongue there. It looks like he took some sort of knock in the mouth. And this is just a start for the Crusaders hunt for their 8th title. See his eyes on the keyboard. I can't find it. It is a dollar sign next to the chat. You may not have it enabled depending on where you are in the world. Sean Stevenson going back across now. Pass out wide. Kalen Boshier keeps it alive, but he's just gone into touch, I thought, or at least I thought I saw his foot on the line, but it is going to now be the Crusaders with the ball and our wide cut-out pass. Big knock on. And they'll go back now for the original scrum to the Chiefs. What's for dinner? Says Mr. Billy. I already had it earlier. Chiefs win? Nah, I don't think you go that far, Richie, but you should just stick with your plus 60. Because you might actually get that one. There's still 8 minutes remaining. I think both of these sides could still have points in them. And Chiefs not going to make it. They're going to lose, says Yikes. And Isaac, I'm on the Crusaders. Says Lord, and let's go the Chiefs. 34-26 now. Says Joke. I'm going to try and a kick to win. And that's the thing as well. Like, with the Chiefs, of course, minimum they want to receive 1 point from this game. And if they get one more form of points, they will do that. But, like, that is minimum that they are after in this contest. Now, short ball, Stevenson. In fact, it's Daniel Rona. Oh, Stevenson's knocked out. He is not good at the moment. I don't think he's going to be getting up here. Yeah, it's loose. It's going to be the knock on. And they'll go back and check on Sean Stevenson there. It's up, Hamish. Come on, the Chiefs, says Sione. Yeah, he looks like he's had a bit of a nap there, Sean Stevenson. He shouldn't be able to continue this game, which will mean that they have to bring one of their players off the bench back on. Show how most meters made this season. He is sitting at the top with 537. Second it is Harry Potter, who's a wizard, playing for the Western Force. Didn't he get KO'd in round 2? There's Hanoi. I know that Anton Leonard-Brown got knocked down in round 3 or 4, I think it was, but there's been quite a few knocks to the head throughout these Super Rugby fixtures. Oh, says a Lord Rapture. And there, Steve-O thinks he just scored a 7-point try. Says Fluffy. Willie Hines now onto the field. That is to replace Noah Hotham, who's actually been very strong throughout this contest. Like they've just said, I sent it, I don't know if it worked. It did not then. Because normally it will pop up and you can see it on the screen. And come on, the Chiefs, says Christopher, and could end 34-33. Certainly could. Last time that these two sides played, it was the opening round of the Super Rugby Pacific competition. And it was only 4 points that split those two sides. And God bless you, Crusader. Go Crusader, says Elvis. I'm putting 10k on my Highlanders to beat the Hurricanes. That seems too confident. It's going to be a tough game. That is for sure. And Quintal Pye got knocked when these teams first played, says Tama Riddle. Because also, that was when we saw Anton Leonard-Brown with the mouth guard HIA, didn't we? I think if I'm correct. That's going to be the quick tap taken now by the Chiefs. Hello from Even Table Champion, says Random Stranger. Welcome in, mate. Hopefully the weather's nice over there. We'll have to try and get some more table tennis going in the near future. I'm sure Eben has improved drastically since we last talked. Now 40 metres out for the Chiefs in possession. Cortez Aratama trying to step through was Anton Leonard-Brown, and Chiefs are going to win. Says Chris, and Hurricanes are going to smash the Highlanders. Tell you what, there's some big upsets on the cards over Super Rugby already this year. And I think we've got a few more coming up in the future as well. Now back across, Cortez Aratama. Been a very handy option. That's what happens if you rest Damien, says Jimmy Cooper. Although, to be fair to him, Josh Jacob, I don't think, had a terrible game here. And I don't think a lot of the mistakes for the Chiefs actually came from that 10 position. I think that it's just been the discipline in terms of some of those Chiefs forwards has let them down. And also the handling error that we're seeing quite often happen when they're out their back line has been hurting just a bit more too. Now short ball from Sean Stevenson. Big bump off from Simon Parker. But Christie gets over the ball and wins the penalty. Can't blame McKenzie for that one. And who got KO'd? So it was Sean Stevenson who ended up taking the head knock. I think he's continued in this match, though. I didn't actually see him go off. And go the Crusaders, go the Crusaders. Says Benjamin. And Crusaders, hang on, boys. Says a roof there. Currently 5 minutes remaining. Reves Rayahana just making sure that he's on the right mark. Should have had D-Mac on the bench. Joshuani is mud. Drinks and parties too much. Fix his mind. Distortion and the illusion. Says Marco. And also, wouldn't it be great if this was the start of major continuous improvement? Says Blue-Grey. Well, that's the thing. Like, for the Crusaders, this is a much better performance than we've seen throughout the rest of the season. Of course, they still have a lot to prove because they have to play the Waratahs next week. The week after that, I believe they have also got the Highlanders, I think, early May. Although we're not quite March, April. We've still got April. I forgot what year, what month we were in for a second there. Another advantage by the Crusaders. Passed on the outside of George Bell. His elbow was on the touchline, so they will go back. Oh, a bit of argy-bargy here between Ratama and Jamie Hanna. I'm an Ashburton, New Zealand, says Cruz. And don't tell me the score ends up 33-34. Now, fastest Stevenson, he's a very quick player. At the back, he's had the most running meters out of any player throughout the Super Rugby Pacific competition by about 130. Right. What is the decision here for the Crusaders? Do they go for the 3? Or do they go for the corner? They're taking on the shot. It sounds like Riley and Reves have had solid games. Says John. And there as well. Yeah, I think that definitely that number 10 jersey for the Crusaders was a concern a few weeks ago, but the last couple of weeks from Riley Hohepe seems like he's really found that momentum at 10. And no, Crusaders have Waratahs away, then the Force away, then the Rebels at home, then the Reds at home, and then I think the Highlanders away. And how the F, are they going to go Hundies against the Chiefs? Come on, says Sua Silva. Probability for Reves Rayahana to get this kick over is 65%, and this will determine whether or not the fella from earlier, Richie, does get his money. And the answer is about to be... He does get his money. Congratulations, Richie. It would be quite funny if that was Richie Mwanga. Of course it is not, though. And Saders, we can spell what you cooking. Let's go. And good choice, 3 better than nothing. And also use up a good minute or so on the clock, we've got to remember. Thanks for the commentary, Kiwi lads, all the way from the Cook Islands. Hope the Crusaders win from them to get some Super Rugby points. Says Vaitoti, loose ball. Claimed by the Chiefs now. And now with 2 minutes remaining, the Chiefs can still get themselves the losing bonus point here. Stevenson, wide cut out pass. In fact, they've still got time that if they score right now, they have still got a bit more of a crack in this game. Chiefs lost, says Richie. Yeah, but you backed them for plus 60. So, like, you won, didn't you? You bet 900 on it. Now Christie has been able to clean it up again for the Chiefs. Do you think Razor should consider Stevenson as fullback for the All Blacks in the absence of Will Jordan? And that Saders jersey is ugly AF. To be fair, or to be honest, says Vito Skux. To be fair, if that is the one big complaint you have about the Crusaders in this game, like last week it was that they had lost 4 in a row type thing for a lot of people. If their jersey's the one big concern, they've probably played all right. You're right, send me your Venmo. I don't actually have a Venmo, to be honest. Like, I don't know what it... You just want... That's really... I have a PayPal, but not a Venmo, unfortunately. What is Venmo? I don't even know if we have that in New Zealand. Now, Cullen Grace. And if Crusaders win, they're celebrating with the Rabbitohs tonight. First win for the season. Commentary is superb. Amish is the king of commentators. And thank you, Kiwi lads. Great commentary while I'm at work. The Chiefs have got this ball, though. Still another 20 seconds remaining. And Moni Narawa tries to chip him behind. It's claimed by Jay Fiaki, who has called for the mark. And I believe that that will almost be the end of the contest. Tell you what, that is probably a big mistake from the Chiefs. We're not used to seeing them make those little errors right near the end of the game. And fight commentary, Hamish, congrats. Got to drop the missus to the hospital at work at 11. And thought you had some lives in the AM. Keep me up for the night. Cheers, mate, says Mr. Holland. So the next one that we have got, it is going to be the early morning start of about 8:25 is when that live stream will be starting tomorrow, New Zealand time. That is between Leinster and the Bulls. Who's the Chiefs playing next week? And I was only terrorists use Dumo these days, is Fluffy. And sure, these two teams are my bottom heap. But I had no choice one to say the status, says Vito Scucks. And for all we know, Razor could put Geordie Barrett back to fullback, says John there. Thank you for your commentary, Hamish. Good night till tomorrow. Kia kate, or kakite, bro, and our embarrassment. Says in a light, I think Narawa can be a fullback. Maybe. I mean, he hasn't really played it too much, has he, this year? But who knows, maybe could be something they look to in the future. But yeah, without Will Jordan, I think that there is a big gap to fill. Crusaders, 11-point win here. Thanks for the entertaining commentary. Good work. Says a blue-grey. I don't like chives anymore. Says Cruz. If it makes you feel better, I've never liked chives. Like sour cream and chives chips, not the biggest fan of. And well, the comp is looking competitive now. Says Spink. And also finally 1-6. Thank you, Chiefs GG. And how embarrassment, says in a light. And there as well. But I guess my big question, I couldn't speak there for a second. Richie, was it paying that much in terms of the odds? Because surely them to get to 60 in Super Rugby shouldn't have been that high. Triple T needs to be put in the squad. Says Daniel Cox. And Kakite says Kara and Bang Cash. The over 50.5. I can pay my rent, says Football's Finest. I was not expecting that. Well done, the status, says Fluffy, and thanks ever so much for the fabulous commentary. Kiwi lads rocks this world. Crusaders have a bye next week. They are now 11th, says the reviewer. So there is a chance that by the end of the round we could see the Crusaders drop back down to number 12, depending on how the Western Force game goes up against the Fijian draw. But it's definitely a confidence booster for the Crusaders. And they had a lot of players who stepped up here. Now the Chiefs, they had a few standout players as well. I thought that Josh Jacob throughout the first half was very strong. Anton Leonard-Brown in that midfield was doing quite decently, and then still seeing some hard work from the likes of Samasoni Taukiaho, as well as Stevenson at the back. The Weldon Crusaders team so much for the great coverage. And the Crusaders were supposed to lose. Says Marco and Crusaders, well done, says Quincy. And in my opinion, Quinta Paya, says John. And there as well. Yeah, I think he was relatively strong for the Chiefs as well. Unfortunately, it just wasn't quite enough, though. Every time the Crusaders extended that lead by just that little bit more, the Chiefs would fire back, but then they don't actually receive that bonus point, which I think will make them very frustrated. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, for this live stream. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Like I mentioned, we've got 4 games of Super Rugby back to back tomorrow that we are going to be covering on the channel. So if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you for the good game, or for the game. Crusaders try for the next week, boys. And Saturday Beauty says eyes on the keyboard. And also we got in the chat, cheers for the commentary, Hamish, says Sione there as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Also tomorrow morning, like I mentioned, at 8:30 a.m, we are going to have the matchup taking place between the Bulls and Leinster. So that is a top of the table clash of the URC. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. And I will see you all for the next one.